I wonder what I should do with all of these macrame scraps. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just throw them away. Hello everyone. My name is Sterling and I'm the artist and founder behind Cactus Lady Creation. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new here, on this channel I feature everything conscious crafting, so upcycle crafts, nature crafts, and thrift flips. In this video, I will be sharing some of my favorite projects to make with macrame scraps. And these are going to be things other than the macrame feather that is trending and we all love, but we often wonder what else can we make with our macrame scraps. So I'm so excited to share some other things that you can create. So if you appreciate this content, please let me know by liking the video and leaving a comment below so that I can know if I should continue making videos like this. Also, please make sure to subscribe to this video and hit the bell notification so that you cannot miss out on any new videos coming out. Before I begin this tutorial, I am excited to share that we have just hit over 100 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of this conscious crafting community. I am also looking forward to hosting a giveaway in the next video, so make sure you hang on to the end of this video if you want to know all about that. Without further ado, let's get started with our first project. First, I needed wood blanks to create the macrame scrap earrings on. So I opened up Canva and created a design that I wanted to use for this. If you like the design and want to use it in your own project, you can download it in the link in the description box for free. I downloaded this design as a PNG file from Canva, then took it to Cricut Design Space so that I could cut the blanks on my die cut machine. After arranging the design in Cricut Design Space to the size that I wanted, I prepped the Cricut mat and placed basswood onto the mat, then taped it down so that it stayed in place while being cut. Also, if you don't have a Cricut, you can just purchase wood earring blanks that have already been cut. I have also placed all of the materials for this project in the description box below. Then I loaded the mat into the Cricut to let it cut out all of the earring blanks. Because I used the knife blade, which is really sharp, it only took about 30 minutes in total to cut this project. And I really loved using the Cricut basswood for this project as it didn't chip or have any issues in the machine. Once it was cut, I carefully removed the tape and wood off of the mat. Some of the fine cuts needed a little bit of going over, so I used my craft knife and cutting mat to carefully go over those areas. Then, using a sanding block, I gently sanded on the edges and some of the inner parts of the wood blanks. Next, I grabbed some wood stain, beads, and hardware for jewelry making to create the earrings. I really loved the folk art espresso as it is non-toxic and stains the wood really nicely. After painting the wood, I used a rag to remove the excess paint away, which really leaves a nice thin coat of stain on the wood and brings out the beautiful wood grain to life. Then I took some jewelry wire and I put them on the wood blanks and placed the jump rings and ear wire hooks onto all of the earrings. It is also a great time to use upcycled wire, like here I am using guitar strings for this. So first I bent the tougher guitar string wire in half, and then using a softer wire I wrapped it around to secure it in place. And then using some mini nose pliers, I bend the top of the wire to create a circle at the top to make it possible to secure the blanks to the jump ring. I went ahead and did the other blank, and then I opened up the jump ring and placed the ear wire hook onto it, and then placed the jump wire onto the jewelry wire to connect it to the blank. I found using 2 pliers worked very well for holding the jump ring secure while opening and closing it. Then I went ahead and did it the same way to the other pairs of earrings. To the Goddess Moon blinks, I did it the same way we just did, and to the half moon and star design, I connected the star to the moon and then connected the upcycled wires to the jump ring and ear wire. Once all of the earrings were ready, I grabbed my macrame scraps, and for the first design, I cut 4 pieces of cotton string scraps, which were about 8 inches long each, and using the lark's head knot, I mounted each of them onto the rectangle of this blank. I went ahead and mounted each of the 4 cords to the blank in this way and then trimmed it to the desired length. That was the only thing that I did for this first design, as I liked it nice and simple, but if you want to give your design an extra pizzazz, you can also paint a design onto the wood and use a stencil if you like. The possibilities are definitely endless for this. To the half moon and star design, I took 3 pieces of scrap cords about 8 inches long each and placed them through the bottom of the star frame, then secured them using a gathering knot with another piece of scrap yarn cord, which will create a really lovely tassel. This is a really nice time to get creative and mix different colors or textures of yarn or macrame scrap cords for this. I had this fun silk scrap yarn that I really liked the texture of for this design. After completing the gathering knot, I then trimmed the tassel end and liked it really short. Using a fine-tooth comb, I then combed out the fibers to give the tassel a really nice and lovely fringe. You can also save these little cotton cord scraps and use them to make paper if you like. Feel free to check out my paper making tutorial in the card above or the description box below. For the Goddess Moon design, I really liked the look of the thicker 5mm 3-ply rope scrap and placed it through the bottom hole and trimmed it about 2 inches long. Then, using some scrap cord, I also made a gathering knot, which created a tassel. I liked the look of wrapping the cord around 5 times. It would be so nice to experiment with adding another pop of yarn to this as well, or macrame scrap cord in another color. Let me know in the comments below what you would do. After trimming the ends, I wanted to add a little pop of interest, so I sewed a cowrie shell onto it. This is how all of the designs turned out. This was a really fun project, and these would be really great to give away as presents or even save them for yourself and make use of all of those macrame scraps. This next DIY is a perfect way to make use of those really tiny scraps. For this one, I used a mesh canvas, latch hook tool, fabric scissors, and some scraps. I have a lot of these 5mm 3-ply rope scraps, so I untwisted them and pulled each of the strands into 3 more strands. Also, the shorter and thinner the pieces were, the easier they were to work with, so I kept them about 2 to 3 inches long each. You can also play around with using even shorter scraps as well. For this project, I skipped 4 squares on each side to give room to sew down the edges. To latch the scrap onto the canvas, first fold the scrap in half and place it underneath the tool. Next, hold onto the ends of the scrap while placing the hook underneath the section of the square where you would like the knot to be and over the section in front of it. Then, holding the 2 ends of the scrap, place them underneath the hook and let the latch come down to secure the ends. Then, twist the latch hook tool away from you and pull down, which will bring the ends through the loop underneath this tool. This will then create a reverse lark's head knot, which will secure it to the canvas fabric. Now continue on with doing this with every little scrap. This is not a quick craft, but a very slow and repetitive craft, and makes for a very perfect mindful session. Or you can simply put on a movie and continue with this, or you can easily do this craft while waiting for a bus or riding in a car. It's a very simple craft, and it took me about 5 days in total to create the latch hook part of this project. And I didn't do it all in one sitting, but only for a few hours at a time here and there. Then I trimmed the end of the scraps as I went along to make sure that the rug was nice and even and remained its nice shaggy look. I only used about 3/4 of the canvas as I really liked the way that the dimensions looked. The size was 18 inches by 11 inches total. After trimming the rug to the size that I liked, I continued with latch hooking it and made sure to trim it so that there were 4 extra squares on each side of the rug. Once the latch hooking part was complete, I turned over the rug to sew the ends in. To do this, I used 1 strand of jute cord and measured it so that it was about 3 times the length of the rug. I also used a large metal tapestry needle to sew the ends in with the whip stitch, which will give the rug a nice clean edge. To begin the whip stitch, I first took the needle under 2 of the squares from the edge of the latch hook section and placed a knot on the end to secure it. As I took the needle under the 2 squares, I then pulled the needle through the 4th square from the edge. I made a triple tied knot just for extra reinforcement. And these are just simple overhand knots, like the same kind of knot you use when tying your shoe. Then I folded up the mesh and took the needle back into the rug through the second square from the edge and under the same 2 squares of the latch hook section again. Then I pulled the needle out through that 4th square from the edge again. Then I took the needle over to the next square to its right, under the 2 squares from the edge of the latch hook section, and pulled it through the 4th square from the edge, just as I did in the last row. I continued with sewing in the same way until reaching the end of the edge. Once I got to the end, I took the needle in through twice, just as I did in the beginning of the row, and on the second time I tied a knot. Tying this knot will make sure that the rug's edge is nice and secure. Then, to finish it off, I pulled the needle under about 3 rows of squares and then cut the excess cord. There are so many different ways to do this, but this way worked for me and gave me a nice clean edge. Then I continued doing each side in the same way and found it to be a really repetitive but relaxing activity. Now that all the sides are done being sewed in, it is time to finish the bottom. I have a really simple and easy way to finish it. I had some gorgeous cotton fabric that I trimmed to size, and then using some Fabri-Tac, I glued it down to the bottom, which was no fuss and a quick and easy way to make sure that all of the fibers really stay in place. Before gluing down the bottom, I also trimmed some of the excess mesh from the edges. The key with Fabri-Tac is that you don't want to get it on your fingers because it can be really hard to get out of the skin, but it is amazing on fabric and metal and is one of my favorite all-time crafting glues for sure. A little really goes a long way with this stuff. Make sure to get it into all of those corners and edges in this project. After drying, this is how it turned out. I really loved this project and the results. It would work really well as a placemat or a throw as well as a rug. I'll definitely be doing more latch hooking projects in the future. Thank you for staying to the end of this video, and now let's talk all about the giveaway that we'll be doing in the next video. I want to know, would you all be interested in either winning a Shag Rug DIY kit where you will receive all of the materials that were used to create this rug that we made in this DIY video, or a macrame DIY kit where you will receive all of the materials to make your very own layered macrame wall hanging, as well as a booklet and video tutorial with step-by-step instructions. Let me know in the comments below which of these kits you'd be interested in winning, and thank you again for watching. See you next time.